What it do, YouTube? Is Coffee tapping back in, man, and not the typical kind of stuff we really blog on the J Coffee Talk platform. But you see here, Kid Rock, a dude who was, I don't know if we say Kid Rock was beloved in the hip hop world, as that's a whole nother story, right? Kid Rock kind of switched up, did a switcherooski, if you will. I don't know, man. Comment your thoughts about Kid Rock. But in regards to this artist we're talking about, Toby Keith, who has passed away at the age of 62 after a battle with stomach cancer. You see here it says, Toby Keith was a tried and true red, white, and blue American badass. R.I.P. TK. Sure gonna miss you, big dog. Thanks for the music and all the great memories, Kid Rock. Now, on the way out at the end of this video, we'll play a clip. Kid Rock speaking a little more at length about Toby Keith, his thoughts on him and everything like that. But, listen, country music, never been my thing, never was too big of a country fan, but there's definitely some songs I fluck with here and there. And it's always interesting in a lot of situations, whether it's different genres of music or say I'm watching a TV show with a friend that's not typically the kind of show that I watch. Sometimes, or very often, different genres of different art forms touch on a lot of the similar stuff. If you really get down to the nitty gritty and break down the content in which people are speaking of, it's kind of interesting and surprising in a way, as kind of what I'm getting at is more often a lot of different people or groups of people or just individuals, different communities or sectors or whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Have a lot more in common than a lot of people would think. So everyone jump in and comment and let me know if you're a fan of country music, yes or no. If you were you always a fan? If you weren't, did you get into it later? Were you a fan of this gentleman? R.I.P. to Toby Keith. If you were, same question. Were you not? Was his music or country music something you got into later? Me personally, like I said, it's never really been my thing like that. When I lived in Florida, though, a couple cats that I was pretty cool with, hung out with from time to time, they were really, really into country. And I like a lot of different kinds of genres. Like we talk about hip hop on this channel a lot, but I love all kinds of ish. Rock music, old rock. Hell, there's even a couple Backstreet Boys and NSYNC tracks that I fluck with, like pop music. I truly appreciate all different kinds of music, all different kinds of art as well. But some of the dudes, they were like, yo, come on, Coffee, give this a shot. Like, let's do a session. Let me play some tracks for you of my favorite on my mix, my list, if you will, my greatest hits, what's in their tape deck. And, so we enjoyed some brewskis and really listened to some country. And I was like, it's all right. There's a couple songs on there. I was like, okay, I could get with a couple of those, not really my cup of tea, but hey, it's all good, But I just remember, dude, on his list that he played for me, Toby Keith was one of the artists on there. And seeing he passed away just kind of shocked me. Again, I don't follow country music, but I'm very aware of who this guy was, that he was a huge star. And I was just kind of shocked to hear that he passed. Like, oh man, cancer? Had he announced it? I'm surprised this wasn't bigger news, but he had actually announced it. And, I just wasn't aware. And I guess he was really trying to push on through, even performing and trying to carry on his career after chemo and stuff like that. And that will kick your ass, have you feeling very, very sick. So I guess he was just trying to keep living. And that's the greatest thing you can do when you're facing a tough situation in your life, a sickness or something like that. And when it comes to the big C, there's some other stuff out there you should check out. I can't really speak about it. DM me if you're curious to know anyone, going through that in life. But that Red Solo Cup song was a pretty big banger. that I thought was decent, you know, that like even as not a fan of country music, I could fuck with it. And I was surprised to find out that he actually was a semi-pro football player before getting into the music. I guess he worked in the oil fields in Oklahoma and, you know, stepped into it coming out of high school, making at $52,000 a year coming out of high school. So that was in 96. Hella good money then. $52K a year now ain't bad, but it ain't what it was in 96. But I guess he did that for some time and then ended up playing for the Oklahoma City Drillers, which was actually a semi-pro football team, a farm team for one of the USFL teams back then, which is where a lot of NFL greats played. One being Jim Kelly, who went on to play for my Buffalo Bills. That was the USFL, I believe, right? The Houston Gamblers. Bills drafted him. But he said, I'm going to go with this league first until it went under and came to Buffalo. But getting back to Toby Keith, I guess after football and all that, that's when he really focused in on this country music. Pretty amazing career. Again, not something I followed closely, but I know he was a big name, and I see he's regarded in such a big way. And it's pretty interesting too. There's some stuff talking about how his label back then, before he really blew up, they also had Shania Twain on the label. And I don't know, it was something about the sound they were trying to go with. They wanted him to kind of go that route as well, and he was like, nah man, I gotta do what I do and stick to my true sound. As I see a lot of the people showing him love from the country music world, or just other really dedicated fans, seem to be very heavy with that point that this dude stood on business, stood on his music, his art. So, you know, gotta commend someone for doing that, as always. But we're gonna leave you with that clip of Kid Rock as we shared the brief tweet in the beginning of this video. We're gonna hear a little bit more about what Kid Rock had to say about Toby Keith. So again, everyone, this will conclude the video. Here comes that clip. Sub up to the channel, jump in the comments. Let's talk about everything we touched on in this video. Don't forget to hit that like for me. Y'all know how it goes in this algorithm. And stay tuned for more. It's Coffee, talking music, news, sports, and more.
You knew him very well, is a friend of the show, and you know him as Kid Rock. We know him as Bobby Ritchie. He joins us right now from Nashville. Bobby, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry I had to break the news to you with that text. Tell us about your friend Toby Keith.
Man, I think so many people know what I know is, you know, he was such an incredible talent, and he loved his family like he loved his country. And we should also not forget what a fun guy he was. I was thinking just when I heard the news just 30 minutes ago that it just started going through my head of all the award shows and after parties, whether it was in the back of Losers picking guitars, or we're at a golf tournament, or out in Los Angeles, or so many different spots throughout the years. He was just a great guy. We called him Big Dog. He was a large man.
Yeah, he's like a guy's guy, right? I mean, look at him signing guitars, military, the Red Solo Cup, loved wrestling, loved football. What was he like? Do you remember any stories?
Oh man, stories for days. You know, one time he saved my butt. There was I won't get into it, but there was an incident out. I was after, I think, an award show in Los Angeles, and I'll never forget this. And there was a ruckus, and things got crazy. And next thing, I'm kind of sprawled out on a lawn outside a hotel with a bunch of cops around me in a helicopter. And Toby kind of stepped in. He said, "Hey man, I remember the cops saying, 'Back up, big boy.'" And he kind of handled the situation so elegantly. He kind of came over and smoothed things over. And I can't remember, it was either myself or him who the next morning was going on another, trip to entertain the troops in the Middle East somewhere. And he just kind of smoothed the whole situation out because it was a misunderstanding. And it was just so many times, and like I said, the back of Losers picking guitars after an awards show, or Man, one time I remember meeting him at a club in Detroit randomly. He was in town for something that I didn't know. And he just showed up at this club. And the next thing you know, me, him, and his songwriting friend Scotty got in this little car I had. It was just a sedan. And he's a large man, and there's like, I don't know, 5 of us in the sedan, and we go back to my house. And that's when he goes, check out this new song we just got done writing. And of course it was I Love This Bar, one of my favorite Toby songs. And I'll never forget that, sitting around my studio just on a whim, just kind of by chance. But so many great memories, such a talent. He's going to be missed.
Hey, Kid Rock, do you think that, did you know how serious his illness was? I got the sense, just from the outsider perspective, that he was going to make a comeback on this after we saw him at that award show. Did you get that sense?